I believe it's the first day of spring, or equinox is usually between March 20th and March 21st. Usually this is kind of like the portal opening, uh, just in general. So I hope you guys are, having a good spring, coming in of spring. Not sure if the weather's matching for some of you, but I'll wait for some of you guys to come in. As always, let me see here in the chat. I'm going to post something while people are coming in. Give me a second. Hey, there we go. I wasn't able to see the chat. Like, don't do that to me. I'm trying to share something. Give me 1 second. Oh, geez, they have filters? I swear to God, I am so behind with like all of this stuff, which is fine. I'm trying to, it's fine. All right, I'm just gonna leave it alone. Hey, everybody coming in. I came on, I believe, if some of you guys caught me a few days ago, I came on here live talking shit as usual. And not that I'm like editing myself or ashamed when I kind of go on my rants, but when I watch them back, I'm just like, okay, dial it down a little bit. You're frustrated. You have a lot of feelings and emotions towards what's going on in the world and like just personal things that you want to express. So just dial it down just to a couple of notches. So I'm like, damn, I really go in. I don't know, like a part of my deep shadowy self just comes in and possesses me and just takes over when I do YouTube videos. So I'm just here to like, again, not like criticize or edit myself, but kind of just chill for a second. So I wanted to talk about a few things. Of course, coming on here, I said that I would come on to YouTube when I wanted to share something, and I shared this last time as well, but this is a renewal kind of message because I made my other video private. For those of you who want to, or if you've been waiting to join RSSBC, the doors are open again. I said that I was going to open up for the spring equinox. So for the next couple of days, RSSBC is open to new members. We've been having a great time there. Yesterday, we actually had I call it the RSSBC virtual bar, where we kind of just chill as if we are all like just at a bar virtually, and we have great conversation. That's like one of the things that we do at RS. And then we have like separate presentations, like actual presentations about things. And our presentation yesterday, or actually what we discussed at the bar yesterday, was a few things I do want to mention here. And it was mostly about solar separation, like people it feels like people are kind of coming in through a tunnel or through a passageway from the underworld into the next life, and the roads are splitting off, or the paths or the two doors are there, and we're getting really close to the two-door thing. So we were talking about like the difference between the two doors, and we got into like planetary system talk, and all types of stuff, ETs and everything. So that's just like an example of some of the conversations that we do have. So we do have a community. So click the link in the bio. You'll see RSSBC link there. Also, if you have any Cash App and PayPal and all that stuff, and you feel the need or want to donate just towards this message, that's always welcome. So yeah, just got that in. Give me a second, because whatever I pulled up here is getting on my nerves. It's I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look in the comments in a section. I'm at the comments in a second. I just really want to get rid of this filter thing that's in the way. I don't know. Like, why is it still here? It's so annoying. Filters are annoying, huh? All right. Yeah, it's not letting me. When you pull something up and then it's not allowing you to get rid of it. There we go. It's gone, at least on my end. You guys don't know what I'm talking about. Let me look in the comments really quick. Oh, and for those of you, I actually, last time, it wasn't released yet, but I released my EP called Planet Pluto. So that's out. That link is also in the description. So there's that. I have a question. Why do bulls wear bells around their neck? All right. Wow. So anyway, I'm not going to be on here for too long, seriously. Just, hopefully under an hour. But I wanted to bring up a couple of things and kind of reiterate some of the messages from before. ET's hovering over us from the future. Us from the future. And I feel like, again, what we have, or what we've at least uploaded and shared on social media, is what is expressed in our ecosystem and in our world. So I know that I expressed a lot of my frustration with the newer generation stuff, like new generation app usage. I don't think they understand like what they're doing and how it affects the ecosystem, and not everybody agrees to that specific kind of frequency. So in my frustration and yelling on the last video, I was talking about this dinosaur-like energy, or this very ancient energy that is here and still here, and they're trying to extinct the ancient soul in the ice age. It may not, it's cloaked by warm weather, but it's an icy time. And when you preserve something and freeze something that's supposed to be animated and alive, that's called a death and an extinction to the soul that has a right to continue on. As all of the other organisms that kind of skip over that, they get to live in the sun, in whatever sun they're living within, and in their own little world. And the thing about that is, as I speak about all the time, there's an intelligence that holds space for us to be able to even have the privilege to live life. And that intelligence within itself is viewing and observing and absorbing a lot of the activity, and a lot of the activity is actually taking up too much space. So I gave an example. TikTok is very popular when people kind of come in and they are following the trends and they get so many views, 10 million, 20 million views. The eyes that view that particular trend of a post, all of the eyes connect to each other like a network. So it becomes a hive. And that hive, just from those 20 million views, all have this connection through the eyes based upon something that they're all watching. And that frequency is something that these 20 million people will just continue to carry out and create a ripple effect in the atmosphere, in the ecosystem. And a lot of what is trendy now is not, it's hollow. It's very hollow. It's very echoey. So there's no depth, there's no substance. And for those of you who actually appreciate depth and substance, that's kind of disappearing. And I don't know if you guys are concerned about that or not, but a lot of people are going into a lot of deep depression because of it. So that's not fun, and it feels like there's like a generation of agitation on purpose, like this This generation that likes to agitate based upon gaming and playing games and using people as pawns and game pieces instead of seeing people as people. So I always say, you know, we always know that we're in this virtual reality. And now we're in a space within this virtual space where the network is moving so fast that we can't go back to how we used to be because everything is communicated so quickly. Even if we're talking about telepathic communication, that shit is not new right now because it actually is a thing, because our thoughts are communicating through the networks, through the cellular data plans, through the Wi-Fi networks. Your thoughts are actually transferred and delivered over to others. And this is like on the brink of that song that Jeremiah, or like he had, not Jeremiah, virtual insanity, that song. We've always been in this virtual world, but right now communications that are inner are traveling so fast that the consciousness doesn't have the time to even process what the thought is. So everything that we think, we actually are not even digesting the thought to feel it. It's instantly transferred into the data cloud of the world, of our ecosystem. Yes, Jeremiah, thank you. Thank you. And it uploads into our space. That thought that you didn't get a chance to digest, right? It was your own personal thought, or you kind of maybe shared thoughts with other people because that's what we do. And then it accumulates in the fucking clouds, and that shit just recycles and rains back down on you, or recirculates into the air and comes back to you as if it were a thought or feeling that never got a chance to be felt. And in that processing, it's damn near impossible to be human. It's impossible to be human when we can't at least process our own thoughts anymore, or we're forced to process other people's thoughts. There's this thing where in RSSBC I shared here just for a little while the crypto, tech, and spirit, and I talk about crypto from a different dimensional perspective. And I spoke about how, you know, we'll go to like a restaurant or something and we're automatically synced with whatever Wi-Fi network is operating for that restaurant. So there's a specific zone where the programming for that particular network is instructed to do certain things with certain types of thoughts, certain types of identification, and ends up sorting out the thoughts and feelings. So some of it is that is racist as fuck as well. You know, you'll be registered in that space as you know, a specific kind of race, a specific gender, an age, or whatever, and the algorithm just picks up all of your information from your brain, from your DNA, and from your phone, because it's all the same to the Wi-Fi or to the fucking ether that is running through the networks. So all of your personal information, even on past lives, is now available within the network itself as you're sitting at the restaurant. It goes that deep when it comes to personal information and all types of shit. So let's say you've done something maybe like 20 years ago, you've moved on from that shit, but somehow the data is picking up on that very thing from 20 years ago and is now projecting that back into your reality as you're sitting at the restaurant. And you're just like, damn, like all of a sudden, oof, like, why am I getting this feeling of like that when that shit is old as fuck? But it's because it's a part of your data, and there's an agenda based upon programming to make you feel like shit, to make you feel just like that, how you felt 20 years ago, because you're sitting at that particular restaurant at that particular zone. And then there's also another thing is, let's just say you were, you know, feeling great before that projection came into your space. that feeling great, feeling confident, all of those feelings get transferred to another motherfucker who needs the dose of that shit, who just happens to have a different data setup to where the algorithm favors that person because of the data and information presented. So there you have two people, one feeling great, one feeling not so great. Data transfer happens. Now the one that was feeling great feels like shit because this person is weighed down from something from the past that data is picking up on from their brain, memory cycles, and DNA, including phone and all of the devices. And then this other person that was feeling so low and not so great and came to possibly feed, not just eat at the restaurant, but feed from energy, has now received your confidence package. So now you have the confidence package. This other person sitting at the restaurant now just leaves the restaurant with all of these rewards and qualities. It's like wearing a person's mask or stealing a person's ID just for a couple of days. It's like taking drugs in a sense and just saying, oh, I got a hit of a person's energy at this restaurant because data, this zone in this network favors me because of ... So now I'm always going to come in this zone when I need a fix of something specific to feel better. Meanwhile, the other person who's discriminated against by data feels like shit every time they go to that restaurant. So they never go back, even though it's a nice restaurant. And then you get kind of pushed out into like these shitty places instead. Because, you know, the data says you're not allowed to even have a great time when you come to these spaces because of the racism of the soul. So that's just kind of like an example of, and I can't see messages again, so let me pull this up. That's kind of like an example of how serious, and it's always been this way, it's just operating too fast. So we can't really get a hold of what's happening. So it feels like we're out of control when it comes to just decisions and choices and our own personal feelings and emotions not even belonging to us anymore because the network is taking it as a package and giving it to someone else. And then you just take their shit instead. So it's like swapping. It's like deep fake, the deep fake technology where, you know, you just swap and you don't even know that it's happening. So then you're leaving, you came in as one thing and you're leaving out as another, and you're just like, I don't understand what's going on. From a technical, spiritual, metaphysical point of view, that is one of my theories with what is possibly going on. Let me look into the comments. As the vibration changes, I raise my frequency. So that's the thing, Mark Hanna. Raising frequency is not always the best thing, because the higher you go in frequency, the faster it travels. So you're up there with the technical network. So this is the thing, and I don't understand. This is why we have to involve the conversation of technology and spirituality, because especially within a new age type communities or just the light and higher spirit, angelic realm type people, they're always telling people to raise their vibrations, to feel better, to feel happy, to feel like they're in a space of just being clear. And that's always not, sometimes that places you in a space of the technology itself, like the actual source of what's running the technology. So you're uploading yourself into the network by raising your frequency. I personally think that we need to come down from the higher frequencies. And what they teach you in some of these spiritual teachings is that being of a low vibration is bad. You'll feel like shit. Your like body starts to break down, and that's not true. So it's almost like even when they have these scales out of like the color scales of the rainbow, even with credit ranking and stuff like that, anything that goes into the red and orange is seen as alert, bad, your credit is bad, your you're about to run out of gas, red, 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 stop, danger. There are just all of these things that are dedicated to the lower spectrum of the light spectrum when we're talking about frequency. So they're like, raise it up, go more into the blue, into the purple, the green, the blue, the purple. Come on, raise your vibrations, everyone. And it's just like right now, it's actually kind of dangerous to constantly be in blue and purple mode, even though that's where the good credit is. Your credit score goes into that range. You're just like, oh shit, I got some good credit. I can get whatever I want. But what's the price? What's really the price of getting whatever you want and what is considered to be better? You know, you lose your soul. It's kind of just like any kind of transaction that's promising you the best. There's always a price for that best. So sometimes when you understand like dipping, going a little bit lower in your frequency, it doesn't mean that it's bad. So that's like saying that you're just talking about the chakras in general, your root chakra, your sacral chakra, that's bad. Like, you mean to tell me that I go into the red and orange zone, I'm fucked up? Like, I need to raise my vibrations, I'm too low. And it's just like, well, I need my bottom, I need my root, I need my sacral. Oh, there's some things that are good and some things that are bad. Okay, so that means that on all sides, red, orange, yellow has a negative and a positive on both sides of the color. And you go into the blue and the purple shit, there's a negative to that and a positive to that. And we forget that. And too much of anything is always going to bring you into a space of resetting something. So in a space like this, though, I feel like people are getting too higher vibe mode and they're uploading themselves into the technology, and the technology is like doing all types of shit with them because it's instructed to do that. The program is instructed as soon as you, it's like raising your consciousness is leaving your body. First of all, it's not even, it's leaving, it's raising like a helium balloon. It goes all the way up to a certain point where it pops. And then your whatever was inside of that balloon is collected like a machine, like the Matrix machine, collects that shit, holds it. And from that point, your soul can now be rewritten, edited, redistributed, and also redistributed and sold to other motherfuckers. And you're just like, what the fuck just happened to me? I don't understand. Oh, you keep uploading yourself in the cloud that does not have your best interest in mind. It just has editing interest in mind. It wants to make you something that you're not. Mark Hanna, what's the purpose of changing our identity? Well, the reason why people seem to, it's called identity theft, and people in the spiritual community do it all the time, is because people like that don't necessarily want to take responsibility for their own identities because they don't like themselves. It's just that simple. So they steal the identities of people that actually love and like themselves, and it's natural. So there's a jealousy to that type of person. So when you steal the identity of a person by taking all of their thought packages and emotional credit, you get to wear that outside, and people think that you're one thing when you're not. So you get all the benefits that person that naturally has that identity should be getting, but they don't get it because the frequency is responding to the identity. You can actually masonically steal identities. And a lot of people don't know that that's happening. That's what we talk about in RSSBC as well. Masonic credit. I spoke about that before here briefly. It's just a way of swapping bullshit with benefit. And that's it. Bullshit with benefit. So if you have a lot of benefits just naturally, keep that shit. And there are ways to do that. And there are ways to know when someone is taking from you. And like, you know, there are certain defense systems that you need to have set in place so that that doesn't happen, or so that there's consequences to that, because it happens all the time when you're naturally talented and creative. There's like a you know, when we also think about the color black, we think about, even yesterday in our conversation, we talked about the black sun. There's a black sun and there's a white sun, quite literally, in two different alternate universes. And people have to start making choices on whether they are dominantly in the black sun or dominantly in the white sun. So when we're thinking about the color black, though, the color black is all encompassing. When we're looking at something as a person that has so much talent and levels of alchemy, we talk about this even with colonization, racism, and so on, where there are types of beings that are constantly stealing or colonizing culture. Culture vultures, you know, they come in and they steal, they take, because they don't have the ability to create as great as these beings, right? When we're looking at the color black, the creativity pot is always resting within the color black. And again, I'm not talking about skin color. I'm talking about the essence and frequency of black. So in that, most people who are in that realm is usually of lower vibration, believe it or not. When you're constantly in the space of having to alchemize, and you create amazing shit, literally gold from shit, turning shit to gold. You have that ability just naturally. You're placed in the black spectrum. And because you have that ability, there's if this person is not intelligent enough to understand what others want with that ability, they get used and they turn into the person's black card or credit card. So when you think about black cards, you know, that heavy black card that people kind of floss around, you know, the rich and the wealthy. I have my black card, unlimited credit, right? How the fuck does a person get unlimited credit? There's something on the other side of that that is definitely the sacrifice for the unlimited credit access. So when you can become that for a person, like a genie in a bottle, like a black credit card for a person, when you have unlimited resources. It's just like, oh, you keep taking from me and stealing from me, but I'm just naturally inclined to keep creating. So it's like a bottomless pit of creation when you grab a hold onto a person like that, with that specific kind of energy. So if you know that you're that type of person naturally, it's important to know how to hold on to your own identity and actually use your own credit system, and then share and disperse with others that can mutually beneficially exchange with you, so that you know nothing is being stolen through you or from you, and that it becomes a flow in true currency and what currency really is. Energy harvesting, exactly. But a lot of innocent people, like the innocence, the childlike side of us, are usually super creative, but we are not. Usually that innocence falls for bullshit and gets taken and just wrapped up and placed in a bubble and can never really get out. I think the next presentation that we're going to have in RSSBC is on that genie in the bottle syndrome, on that being locked in an astral prison. It's called an astral prison. There are actual grids of prison that I want to talk about, that I've seen. I've been there in my dreams, because I lucid dream more than usual now. So when I wake up in my dreams, I actually see the prison. I see where most of us go, but most people are not awake in their dreams to see where they're going. And that's where they do the editing. Like, there's a whole process, automated processing center in the astral realm, in the thought realm, in the data field when you go to sleep. So you don't even realize that you're being edited, that your programming is being like sent to you and so on. And you're not, I don't even think I think the air traffic is so heavy that people don't even really have dreams anymore. I think it's fogging up the dream layer that is supposed to be a natural space for us to actually elevate into as we sleep and actually have dream time. It's kind of like a vacation from life for a little while, and then you come back to your body. But they've taken over the fucking dream layer, the dream space. So that's turned into like a prison. So a lot of people don't know that when they're going to sleep, they're going into a fucking prison center where their fucking energy is just dealing with all types of shit. So your body in your waking state is actually parallel to what's going on in the astral prison. So there's like a lot of things that I feel, and I put a ET in the title because I personally, and I don't really talk about ETs, but I really believe that there are ancient futuristic beings that are hovering over us and are trying to communicate with us to warn us about this high level air traffic that has no control. It's just full of shit. And whatever is going on in the air is going on in the water parallel. So the water that you drink, that you shower with, even with a filter, it's still filled with whatever's in the air. And the best way to get to people and get them to change and morph is through air and water. That's the perfect attack on humanity from controllers that actually want to fucking change everything. So it's really a war, and I don't want it to be like a war. It doesn't have to be, but unfortunately the dominant frequency is going into war mode. So there's like a lot of pocket universes that we kind of have to create, like our own communities and so on, so that we can have like a haven of our own experiences. And eventually those layers get thick enough to the point where what's going on out there is not going on in here. And that's where you're kind of like creating your own spaceship. But it takes time. You know, you ever see that Westworld, the beginning of the intro where they're like, you see the machine kind of building the person's body, the muscles and the bones. It's kind of like that process astrally. It's just like as you go into a bubble and you make that decision, the machine starts building your ship or your vehicle around you so that you are not isolated from the rest of the world, but protected and actually having access to your own reality without being disrupted by the frequencies. And a lot of people are walking around without vehicles. A lot of people think that they have bodies and they don't. A lot of people don't know that they're ghosts. But just because the mind creates a body because it has to make sense of the reality, who really has a body and who really doesn't? Yes, it's turned into a trap. Air is water, water is matter. Water is within matter as well. Yeah, it's the memory molecule. Memories are the most important thing. I'm not gonna, again, I'll probably stop here and conclude, but these are the things that, you know, I feel throughout this year, especially with this being spring equinox and going into summer. One thing that I brought up is winter solstice. With the word solstice, I see souls to ice. Souls to ice. It's a time where souls are placed upon ice. It's frozen for a moment. And then as the seasons start changing, there's a thawing of the soul. So it's like everything is put on pause for a moment so that the matrix itself can like clean up and do things, as most people are frozen in time, right? So winter time is like a frozen in time space, but in our minds we're moving, of course, because the mind always has to be constant and in movement. So what your mind is doing your virtual reality is different from what the actualization of what you are doing is. So to sync back in with mind and body is getting a little bit more difficult nowadays. So as we come into the spring, it's kind of like the ice is melting. The ice is melting. It's supposed to be melting. So a soul that it has been preserved through cycles that is supposed to melt, you know, this when it's icy still and it's supposed to be warm, that's a problem. That's a problem. And that's what I feel is happening. Like, it's supposed to be spring, but energetically it doesn't feel like spring. It feels like it's getting colder and colder and colder, because people are getting colder and colder and colder, and we are the ones that actually project what we get back. So, you know, I don't know if people care about this shit or not, you know, because I feel like people have become very numb to even spirituality. Spirituality has become redundant. Your spiritual teachers, you're probably done with watching them. There's a cycle of changeover. You probably see them talking about the same shit over and over and over again. And then you're just like, okay, what gods do I need to pray to? What ancestor money do I need to burn? What colors do I need to wear? What chakras do I need to work on? What do I need to cleanse? What do I need to heal? Who do I need to pray to? Who do I need to listen to? What work do I need to do? And it's turned into a school. Like, spirit and resonance has turned into school. So people are just like, all right. And people are getting, I could just sense into the field of things, and people are getting tired of it. But there's nowhere else to go. Once you've locked yourself in a paradigm of thought and algorithmic activity from anybody, that what you've been doing most of the time and what you've been into most of the time is going to determine your life and your algorithm. So if you want to leave that and reset, there has to be a cleansing or a detox from certain people you watch, from certain things you listen to, from certain constants that brings you to a point of the same shit that you're trying to like get rid of. So notice what that is in your life, especially during this changeover in season. You want it to be spring for you. I kind of feel like it's really like some Matrix shit for real, where everybody is literally in their own, we are quarantined, whether we like it or not, because we can't all live in the same universe right now. So it's like we're being potted up. And some people they don't realize that as this is happening, like the Westworld creation in the fucking intro, as that machine is doing that around your field, what is being locked into your universe? Are you happy with your life right now? Because right now that matrix machine is locking you into whatever the fuck your world is in, because we have gone into ice mode. So that husk or that pod that is being built around your field to protect you is not biased on what kind of reality you have. It's not biased. It's an AI that is ran by the intelligence that has been instructed to build pods around motherfuckers. But the AI technology is not going to stop and say, are you happy with your life? Are you good with your life and satisfied with your life before I build this pod around your aura field? I'm just asking. I'll give you a couple of days to think about it and make some. No, the machine is like, and people don't know that shit is happening. I've seen it in dreams. It's happening. And I'm just like, oh shit, they're building stuff around our fields to act because some other shit is going down. So what the fuck am I encapsulated in? I want to make sure that I enjoy my life while I'm in my own fucking pod, going into spaces of stasis again. Because the Star Wars shit that's happening around us, we can't handle without the fucking pods. We need new vehicles for this world. Call me crazy. But that's what I see. That's what I've experienced. I've been awake in my dreams, and I've actually seen these motherfuckers building. I have hovered over, and I'll stop here, but I've hovered over in dream state in the astral plane, because I know the difference between the astral plane and like the other plane that allows dreaming to happen. However, it's hard to get out of astral space, because once you're in you got to go through the thought plane first, like the layers of sleep before we get to REM. A lot of people don't get to that level of sleep anymore, because the astral plane has these grids that trap in your consciousness that keeps you on a surface layer of sleep. So people don't even go into deep sleep anymore. If you could find a way out, this motherfucker, when you're dreaming and you're just like, oh shit, like I need to fly and float out so I can go into the dream space. This matrix is not even allowing people to leave. They're keeping people at the lower layer of the dream. So I've hovered over and I've seen bodies in their beds, because when you're in astral point, you can actually see through people's houses. You don't need a window or a door. You can float right through the fucking wall, go into somebody's house. You can see what they're doing outside and shit, all types of shit. And those of you that know this and that actually professionally do this, who professionally remote review and shit, I don't do it on purpose. I just have happened to wake up in these spaces and I've paid attention to things. So you're able to see through people's houses and shit and see everything. And I've seen the machines hovering over people's aura fields, building this shit while they're sleeping. But it's a process. So it's like every night there's a different thing. It's over time building. It's like reprogramming. And I saw this shit. I was like, it was like the fucking movies. I've never seen this fucking scene in a movie, not even in the Matrix, anything. I was like, oh, this shit is real. They're actually like, there's the technology that is cloaked, that is only available in the thought realm. So when we sleep, we go there physically. It feels like a physical world. And they're really doing this shit to us. Why? And when I started getting into the why part, I actually said, okay, they're not harming us. They're not doing anything invasive to us. They're actually being called by instruction to do this because the air is so toxic. The air is toxic as fuck. We can't survive without these things that they're building around us. So I'm like, okay, metaphysics 101. If something is building something around my field, I have to like my inside world. If I don't like my inside world and I'm trapped in there because motherfuckers are building around me, that's going to be a problem, and that's going to feel like prison to most people who don't like themselves. This shit is crazy. It's in that movie Moonfall with Halle Berry. I've actually never seen that movie, Moonfall. So you're saying like that scene that I'm describing is in that movie? I think I've been there before through my desires. Desire is so strong that it feels physically. That makes a whole lot of sense. Yeah, I mean, well, that's a whole other conversation, because, you know, there's a lot of things that go on in the astral realm. There's layers to the shit. There are people that have, you know, secret houses and homes and communities in the astral realm, and, you know, they do whatever they want there too. So you just got to know where you're going, who you're with, and you got to understand how it affects you when you wake up in the waking world. So it's very I will stop right here because there's so many layers to this conversation. And again, when we go into April, we're going to get through the layers, or through the Masonic layers, through the Masonic site of the layering of language, to know how to at least build your own space so that it can ping back or project back into your actual 3D reality. A builder's point of view. One thing that I did mention, and I had a private session with someone where we talked about this, and she expressed that she was under Masonic attack. She knows she was. And a lot of it, not to get into the whole gender thing, but back in the ancient times, at least from my memory, the builders were both male and female, which is why a lot of the cities, a lot of the ancient cities all over the world had beautiful structures, beautiful details, beautiful art. The gold, the turquoise, the stones, the details, the language, the writing, the statues, the everything. So detailed and so beautiful. Only because in those times, women were able to collaborate masonically with men. So women were able to build with men. Women were builders too. Women were masons just as men were. Even when we go to the goddess Seshat, right, in the Egyptian mythology, Seshat is the one that has to come and measure before the building. She does all of the measuring for the kings and for the king's people and for the king's men. She does the measuring and the record keeping. So she writes. She's the goddess of writing, wisdom. It's like a female version of Tahuti or Thoth. And then she does the measuring and the space holding, or presenting a space for the Masons to continue. So there's like this collaboration, and they couldn't build without her. When you read even in the Book of the Dead and so on, with certain rituals for building back then, they needed the presence of Seshat's energy in order to even continue to build. They couldn't go any further without Seshat. So the thing about that is that ended. Masons are mothers' sons, ma sons. So women are the original builders building. Exactly. It's such a beautiful collaboration, though. And it's not fair to everyone. Of course it's not. Like, these are mystery school type shit. These are levels of intelligence and memories that are earned to even get to that point. So of course you have civilian that get to experience what is built, that has their world, and then you have the god goddess energy of the elite type frequency that are the builders. And they actually enjoyed it though. Like, they enjoyed building, because there are layers to this shit. That is the real game. That's the fun game, is when women and men can collaborate and make it better and bigger, more space. So right now it's lopsided. Women are not allowed to, or the feminine essence is not allowed to be equal in collaboration with masonry right now. And it feels like I feel like sometimes I'm living in a time where, in slavery, where if they knew that you knew how to read, you got killed for that shit. Like, slaves weren't supposed to know how to read, and then they would go to these secret cabins and they would learn how to read, and they had to like keep it quiet, like, shh, you can't let them know that you know how to read. So then it's just like, you know, you there's a sign that's telling you to stop, and you're a slave and you stop, and some of the others are just like, why is he stopping? Does he know how to read that? I'm supposed to tell him to stop. He stopped before I told him to stop because he can read. Right? So it's like that. And I'm like, I feel like we live in that world now. Like, certain types of people are not supposed to show that they know how to build and read and do things. It's a very suppressed time. It feels very Greek. You know, the whole war between the Egyptians and the Greeks, where they just took that shit over and then made all the women housewives and shit, and the men got to do everything, and they just killed off that spirit, but yet they still needed the resources from all places in Africa. And then they just literally just copied the blueprint and then created other things with that. So it's just like, so then they'll call the women whores. You know, she was a slut. You know, your queen was a slut. She, you know, you're forbidden to be like your mother. Because I was reading, what was it? Lily of the Nile. And it's about Cleopatra's son and daughter, and some of the other siblings, but focus on the two twins. So Cleopatra had twins, Luna and Sol. So it's basically like sun and moon. And they were taken and imprisoned in Greece. And, you know, they became slaves, even though they were royal over there. And they constantly degraded the feminine part. You know, they wanted them to hate their own culture, hate their own mother specifically, even though they were mixed with, they were hybrids. You know, they had to denounce their Egyptian side. Don't want to be a bubble burster, but it is what it is. I've been studying so much. I've been shown so much. A bubble burster. I don't know whose bubble you're bursting. I don't know what bubble you're speaking of. I'll tell you, if we're talking about these buildings of husks and bubbles, you can't burst these vehicles. You can't break into these new vehicles, is what I'm saying. If you join RSSBC, the very first presentation that I have in the library is the new body activation. It's based upon the actual mapping of the new body, which is really ancient. It's the way our bodies used to be. And then they cut shit off and they made us smaller. And then we just was granted this chakra system from the prism of light. But there's other things going on. And I shared, at least from my theories and memories, of course, what the ancient body mapping is. So when you go into the rebuilding of the vehicle part, it's a vehicle that can't be hacked. It's unhackable. So you'll get on here, I'll get on here and say certain things, and then there are the colonizers who are everywhere. You know, not accusing you guys of being that, but there's always one or two creeping around, watching and shit. And they'll be like, oh, well, she's giving us information that we can use and, you know, to do other things. And it's just like, well, this technology, you do not have the rights to hack. You can't hack. And if you try to hack, you're going to be in serious fucking trouble. There are major consequences hacking into these bodies. And while everybody's getting new ones built, there are certain people that are getting the ancient bodies built. So you can't hack into my vehicle because I have ancient body mapping. While other people, civilian sleep, they're getting husked into it's like building factory vehicles for motherfuckers. You can probably hack into those because people don't even know that that's happening to them. So, of course, you can hack into those. But I'm talking about, okay, if they're building pods and vehicles around people for this next passage of some whatever, the toxic shit, I'm tapping into my other vehicle. And in RSSBC, I'm actually inspiring, helping, and guiding others to find their ancient mapping. I'm not giving them blueprints that's mine, that we're all unique in that sense. And it's funny because wording is so funny because even when I say the word unique, my middle name is unique. And when I say I'm offering unique something, I can possibly through Masonic language be offering my identity because my middle name is unique. And that's not what I'm offering. I'm not offering unique. I'm offering unique experiences. Right? So you got to watch what you say and how you say it. And what I'm saying is that There are some of us that know the language. We just choose not to speak it because it's annoying. It's exhausting having to constantly speak in code on purpose. Mother is all there is. No, why would somebody say that? Who said that? Third Eye Live TV Radio? Not in my universe. Mother is not all there is. That sounds like a nightmare. I don't want to live in that universe where mother is all there is. Mother is tired of being mothered all the time. She has to be able to switch in her archetypical form at any time she feels. So that's the problem, where they make the feminine energy only mother. Today is Monday, correct? Monday or Tuesday? What's today? I really don't know what today is. Is it Monday or Tuesday? Fuck, I don't even know. So I live in my own goddamn universe right now. It's the 20th, I know that. So we're in moon energy anyway. It's Monday. All right, it's Monday. See, it's Monday. It's Moon Day. It's Mother's Day again. And then even through the numbers, it's moon. All this. So my question is, why do a lot of occult people always use this day dedicated to mother when the moon has so many other sides? There's a dark side of the moon, and there are other moons in the solar system that influence the energy of Earth Moon. So they all work together, and they're all not mothers. If you operate under the matrix of mother only, that world is actually not that great. The whole Mother Earth thing is played. It's out of date. Mother has left the building. She's left the fucking solar system in that sense. And she's come back as herself. The feminine essence that most people want to connect to. She's come back as herself, which is not just mother. Actually, she's come back as daughter mostly. And she's just like, motherfucker, like, where's Father God? Because I need to take a break from motherfuckers drinking, cowing, and at the teat. Trying to go into my belly all the motherfucking time and not, like, it's constant. It's just like, no, it's not happening. Not in this universe. I don't know what universe you living in, but Mama Moo on that side is not where I live. And I will not be brought over to Mama Moo's universe. That's not my mother. So, anyway, I see men are all feminine. Somebody said men are all feminine. So who's masculine? I'm talking to you specifically. You're the one who said mother and all that. Now you're saying men are all feminine. Third Eye Live TV Radio. Where's the masculine principle then? If men are all feminine and women, unless you're trying to swap and say that women are masculine and men are feminine, are you trying to swap the energy so that you can just take over? Like, let me know what that intention was in saying something like that, because I don't think all men would agree with that. I'm sorry for coming off rude. I've been kept quiet for a long time, so my social skills have become very rough. I don't know what you're speaking on as far as like comments from before. Mama's boys. Hi Taryn, loved your last live. You really helped a being out. What's your Cash App? And I don't agree with what he said. LOL. Thanks, Lumberjack. I remember you actually. My Cash App is Taryn Guy. It's also, the link is in the description. So I appreciate you for asking. And thank you. I'm glad that you enjoyed my last live. I was getting a little belligerent. And I said, you know what? Let me calm down. But not. Like, I'm not going to edit myself. I'm just going to, like, make sure that my energy is tempered in a specific way. So Third Eye Live TV says masculine equals masking. It's a lie. What an interesting perspective. Third Eye Live TV radio, you should join RSSBC. I'm serious. You should join RSSBC because I am very curious as to like what your belief systems are. That is very interesting. I'm not being funny at all. I'm just like, I want to hear more. Shit. You went into the etymology of masculine being the mask and calling it a lie. We can go into that conversation, but that's like RSSBC mode because there's a lot of layers there because we can go on about the whole roles of masculine and feminine, you know. So anyway, while I'm on here, I was trying to post my link, my RSSBC link in the chat, and it wasn't allowing me to do it. Let me try it again. It's called RSSBC, ERASBC, like time era, and BC stands for before Corona. So a time before the toxicity of the crown virus or the eye virus. I tried to join it and it said there was an error. An error. Well, error and error are not the same. So RSSBC is not an error. It's not a mistake. So let me click on the link myself and see if there's a problem. Because if there's a problem with the link, then that is good to know. I'd rather do all of this online now. RSSBC, not ERs. Eras, ERAS. Can I make somebody, at least the moderator, to post a link for me and pin it? Because I can't do it unless, you know what, let me log into my computer version then. Because, you know, I come on here and I speak, but there is a purpose here because I'm building a community, and if you guys really enjoy what I speak on, that is a community for that on a consistent basis. So, hold on. All right, so I'm on the live stream on my computer. And of course, I'm going to play some music. I can't, like, not right now. RSSBC activation group. Here is the link. Hold on. All right. So, paste. All right. See, sometimes you need two devices, huh? All right. So I just pinned the message to my RSSBC link. So I'm going to play some music and maybe some people ask a couple of questions. But it would be nice to get members to join if you're interested. Because we have a lot of stuff coming up, and we do have a RSSBC virtual bar where we actually chill and drink and like have real conversations amongst each other in the community. So that's kind of like the vibe that I'm creating. It's not a school. I don't want it to be that. I want it to be like very low key, very like just comfortable for people as we talk about so many things energetically. So I'll wait for I'll do the 15-minute thing. I'll play some of my new EP, new songs, which is out on Apple, Spotify, and all the other platforms. Yes, it is very mature for people like who are ready to go into like real shit, not the same old, same old. None of the presentations that I've done so far for the past 3 months as RSSBC has been open are the same. It's all different. It's all different. You got a lot of content when you join. You got 3 months worth of content of presentations that are over at least an hour and a half, 2 hours long, but it's interesting. And then you have the members community bar conversations, and then you have the Facebook group community where you can like express yourself there and meet new people. So, you know, that's just what it is. But, you know, it'll be nice to get a member or two. You don't have to send me Cash App. You don't have to do any of that. I'm not asking for donations. You know, just membership for those that are interested in going further than just being entertained. Or if you want to be entertained, just be entertained on that side. So where's my music? Let me go on it through Apple. But I was thinking about extending the EP, making it longer, because there's so much music inside of me. So much music, just in general. So here's my Apple link. I don't feel like I got my money's worth. You could at least provide yearly horoscopes or something substantial. Cosmos, you must be a hater. If you're a member, you probably quit then. But I'm not going to give astrology reports because I don't do that. So you go to an astrology place. And when I speak to people, especially privately, and I do private sessions, I am the best at what is supposed to be served, and they leave very much satisfied. And I don't need to have a whole bunch of testimonials to prove that. Also, the group, there's no other group like it, and everyone's different, but, you know, we do things the way we do things. It's not for everybody. I'm not offended by that, but you want astrology reports? You can fucking go to Google and get an astrology report. I'm not wasting my time on astrology reports. However, last night we did speak about the entire solar system. We did speak on every single planet and every archetype freely from the perspective of wisdom, not from what was written about planetary systems. And we had a great time at the bar. So let me sign into my Apple here. We had a great time at RSSBC bar last night. And if it was actually a physical bar, maybe one day I will open up a physical bar. I'm going to, through my masonry, I may build that. Actually, I'm building it now. I'll have a bar in the very near future. I'm bar certified. I am bar certified. I am certified to have a bar, guys. Like, you know, so that's nice to know. And I'm not begging people to become members. You know, there was this chick, and I got a screenshot of her. I don't even want to mention her name. She has like 52 subscribers talking shit about me. Like, she has clips of my older videos when I was, she looks like a redneck, of like my older videos when I was living in San Diego and I was really homeless, and that shit wasn't funny at all. Like, I was at a point, I think it was one of my first videos I made when I asked for Cash App donations. And I remember I was at the beach. I had on these blue glasses. I was crying my eyes out. I was cold on the beach. I was staying at a hostel. I had about $50 left in my account, and I had nowhere to go. And I literally was going to plan possibly to sleep on, at least use that $50 to buy a tent. And I said, you know what? I'm going to swallow my pride, and I'm going to ask my people help, because I'm in a situation, and people don't know my personal situation. They don't know why I ended up homeless. They don't know why I'm not with my family right now. And I don't need to explain that. I'm a great mom. There are plans for my family. So that's private. You know, a lot of it is relationship based, and a lot of it is not necessarily my fault. And I take accountability from my side of things, but a lot of it is fucked up relationship stuff, and I can't help that. So I had to go on my way. So there are situations that people don't understand, and then they judge it. So this bitch is on YouTube talking shit about me, taking clips from videos on me asking for money, asking like saying, oh, if she's so awesome, why is she so broke? And like making faces and shit. And I'm like, oh, I found your clip and I wasn't looking for you, but your clip found me. And I said, I pray that the same doesn't happen to you one day. So I remember what that felt like. And I remember when I went live at the beach that day, I received like at least like $500 in Cash App donations. And I was like, I was crying my eyes out. I was like, oh my God, I had like 50. I got to at least $500 to $600. So I was able to get an Airbnb for a couple of nights. That shit made my night. And I'm like, people really, that's why the world is cold. That's why the world is fucking cold. And then I ended up getting a job opportunity from somebody that I used to work with. And I offered a proposal to make some money. And she was kind enough to collaborate with me. So I was able to at least sustain for the next couple of months. Never hoard myself, never fucked for money. Never was like out there on the streets. Never. I'm not a druggie. I don't use fucking drugs. I'm not a junkie. I'm just a person that went through shit with my family and that had to start all over again. I didn't even want to come this way, but I had to. So if you got to start from ground zero with nothing because motherfuckers are blocking you from going to where you wanted to go, then what the fuck am I supposed to do? So I'm here now. So when you see me on here asking for money, I'm not asking or begging for money anymore. I'm not in that position. And I thank those that like give donations still. But I actually have an actual group in operation that is a very good group. Like it's high quality. It's not the best as far as like, oh, I don't have the fancy microphone and the fancy lighting and shit and wearing fancy clothes and shit. I do some of this shit on the phone. I do it on my webcam, whatever. No microphone. But it's real and it's of quality. And people actually experience change and all types of shit in their lives that they talk about within the community. So that's all. So I'm like, that's how I make my money. I create opportunity based upon the wisdom and knowledge that I have, based upon the platform that I've built. So why not? Why not ask people to join my membership? Like that's not, oh, so is she going to take a clip from this video and make fun of me again? I don't give a fuck. What about NYC? I'm not into NYC. I'm from New York. I'm in LA right now. People are telling me go back to New York. Why? I'm giving LA a chance. I like Los Angeles and I want my family to be here and they want to be here. So I'm on the side where my family wants to be. We don't want to be on the East Coast. I'm just getting a head start. I like Los Angeles. I like California. So that's why I'm here. I like the weather, the people. You got to get used to the shit. But I like it. I like the energy and the frequency of Los Angeles. You know, I miss New York for a lot of reasons, but I'll go visit. So I'm going to play, because I'm like, hold on, let me see. I'm going to, oh, so somebody just joined. Kali, thank you for joining RSSBC. I see that I got a membership. Somebody joined just now or 10 minutes ago. So I appreciate you, Kali. Thank you. So with that, like, you know, again, the link is in the subscription or the chat. I'm going to play a couple of songs. You guys can feel free to click on that link if you want more stuff. Because there's a lot more to get through. And slowly and at your own time. Like there's no rush for any of the stuff that we talk about. Where's my Apple link? Let me stop running my mouth and let me play my music. I'm going to play Jane Wick. It's my very first song on the EP. which seems
It's my
fitting.
very first song on the EP.
Oh, not that. That's an echo. Let me mute the YouTube. All right. Jeez. Okay. Let's see if it's gonna play. If not, I have to go to SoundCloud. All right, it's playing on Apple on my computer. So this is Jane Wick. Bounties on me, motherfucker. That's how I felt. I don't feel like that anymore, though. So feel free to click the link and become a member. Join the Eras bar that we have, and let's talk. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Why not? La, 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 la. Bounties on me. I don't know if they want me alive or dead. Am I alive? Am I dead? I don't know. I just know how I'm feeling. Indestructible to these humans. I'm not human. I'm not human. I'm a UFO. Unidentical object. I don't give a fuck if they know. So what you got to say about this whole storyline where I fucking fail? Never get to where I need to. I'm looking at the comments. Because it's always a motherfucker trying to tell lies on me. Never even thinking about the shit that it brings to them. Somebody said they're on cocaine and Jack Daniels right now. Cheers to you. Right now. I don't care how I sound right now. Bring the guns out. Bring the guns out. I'm only talking about the mind. But if they fucking even try, everything will blast out in their fucking timeline. Everything that they fucking come and try will fail, yeah. You guys can click on the link on RSSBC, give it a try. See if the content is for you. You have 3 months worth of stuff there, plus April coming. So, you know. I'm also looking for other people to speak up and about things, not just me. I'm going to start open up for April with that. That's all. Get the community talking. And this shit is fucking real, like the codes in the motherfucking all. So I'm going to play, this is one of my other favorite songs on the EP. It's called Dark Princess. Just one of those nights. So I'm going to play this. I don't know. Dark Princess. Let me see if SoundCloud is louder. Because I'm not playing on speakers. I'm playing on my computer. Let me go on SoundCloud with this. SoundCloud sometimes is a little bit louder. So I'm going to play Dark Princess on SoundCloud. It's a little louder. Happy spring! I don't want to be wrapped in ice unless it's diamonds. Super Mario, Luigi, one in the same. Got that red and that green. World 1, World 2, World 3. No World 3, World 1. Then we go to the motherfucking end. Bowser. Am I the princess? Oh shit, I'm the princess. That's talking shit to the motherfucking players. Come and save me. But when I'm with Bowser Castle, is he fucking me good? I don't want you with nothing in my motherfucking hood. Stay in your game, won't I? Stay for pleasure in mine. Fuck you, I'm a princess. Turn into a queen. I don't wear pink dresses. I wear what I want. I don't have hooks on my song because I just come from my land. I don't follow the rules, so fuck you. I'm in the game, I'm the end of the motherfucking game. I'm the reason, I'm the purpose that you run, that you fight, that you sing. Remember your reason, remember your power, remember your past life. This is a cosmic game. Come and say, do I wanna be saved? Maybe I like where I am. This is a dark game. It's a dark game. It's a dark game. Leave me alone. Just leave me alone. Losing motherfucking game, not the reason. I like being punished. Leave me alone, I'm the princess. So that's my song on my new EP called Planet Pluto. We actually talked about that last night at the RSSBC bar conversation about the planet Pluto that got us all the way to the other motherfucking planets. Planet Pluto is dope as fuck. And it's always like discarded as if it's just a dwarf planet that sometimes is a planet and sometimes it's not. But when you get to know planet Pluto, you don't want to say that about planet Pluto anymore. So that's the name of the EP, Planet Pluto, because I've felt like I've been on planet Pluto for the past 2 to 3 years, so far away from Earthlings. So I've gotten to know planet Pluto because of that. All right, so I'm gonna stop here. I'm only playing those 2 songs. You want to listen to the rest of my EP, my first album as well, you could just click the link, go into my Apple, my Spotify. Follow me on Instagram at tarenguy_. Join RSSBC. I want to see some of you. Seriously, we have a lot of members there, but you know, like, also, yeah, like if you support somebody that is completely sane yet insane at the same time, getting her shit together, you know, to continue to do the things that I do. Support, you know, and however you see fit, whether it's Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, or joining RSSBC. And you know, it's a pleasure talking to you guys. It's always hard for me to leave because I love what I do on all sides. I love music. I love speaking passionately about weird shit. And that's it. So I will see you guys, some of you over in RSBC. And thank you. Enjoy your spring equinox. You're coming into the passageway of the new season. So miss you too. Thank you. So see you guys later. Bye.